Why do we walk to Imam Hussain alayhi salam is a question being posed by many in the world today. When we witness the scenes on the internet or in the world's media of the droves of people in their millions walking to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, many ask the question that what is the basis spiritually, legally, socially to this walk? Indeed, you find first and foremost there is a need for us to understand that every step that our feet take on this earth is a step recorded on the Day of Judgment. In chapter 36, verse 65 of the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear for us that there are certain body parts that will speak on the Day of Judgment. When they speak, they will reflect the actions that they undertook. Some of these actions are meritorious, some may have been otherwise. But when you look in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. The Quran states that their hands will speak and their feet will be witnessing on that day. My feet may have walked to many places. In Islamic tradition, we know very well that the further one walks to the mosque for prayers, the more rewarded he is. Likewise, in the Quran, we are constantly reminded to be humble in the way that we walk. That the signs of those who are godly personalities was the fact that they would always walk in a manner which was a manner of chastity, modesty, and humility. Someone might say, well, it's just a walk. If I decide to walk from Basra towards Karbala or from Najaf towards Karbala, what difference does it make? A walk is a walk. Ultimately, the intention should be for a person to purify themselves by gaining the messages of Imam Hussain alayhi salam from the 10th of Muharram. However, Haidar, the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam, would disagree with you because her walk remains one of the most famous walks in Islamic history. It was a walk from two hillocks, from Safar to Marwa. It's mentioned in the Quran that Safa and Marwa are signs of God. One may argue that two hillocks, why would they be seen as signs of God? It wasn't just the fact that they were two different parts of Mecca. Rather, it was the walk that a lady undertook in showing her faith in her Lord during that particular spiritual moment. Because we all know very well that we share Haidar with the non-Muslims. There are Christians and Jews in the world who are well aware of the story of Abraham and his wife. And in Quranic tradition, as well as within the narratives of the religion of Islam, we find that this lady is struggling to find water for her son in the barren land that is Mecca. At that moment, she decides to undertake a walk, just looking for any water whatsoever that's able to quench the thirst of her son Ismail alayhi salam. She begins to walk from Safa to Marwa, and she walks 7 times until the spring of Zamzam emerges for her. This, one may argue, is one of the many relationships and common denominators between the story of Ibrahim and Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The Abrahamic message continued towards Karbala. But what we find is that God did not just say this was just a walk. Rather, every Muslim in the world, when they come to Mecca, will walk between Safa and Marwa. When they walk between Safa and Marwa, it's to honor the walk of those who came before them. It's to feel a bit of their energy. It's to recognize their legacy. And that's why when we walk towards Karbala, we recognize the walk of Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari, as well as Atiyya al-Awfi, when they left Medina to come towards Karbala. Because sometimes one may argue, has anyone walked towards Karbala before? Some of us think that we are deserving of praise because we walk from Najaf to Karbala or from Basra to Karbala. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari was one of the few companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family, who was alive at the time of Karbala. Anas bin Malik was alive. Sahal bin Saad al-Sa'adi was alive. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri was alive. Zayd bin Arqam was alive. But Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari had such a love for Imam Hussain alayhi salam that he couldn't wait to walk towards Karbala. And he undertook that walk. And he reached Karbala. And his famous interactions with the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are remembered by all of us until today. We want to feel a bit of what Jabir felt. We also want to feel a bit of what the Ahlul Bayt felt when they had to walk from Karbala towards Kufa and then to Sham. If we think we are deserving of praise simply because we walk from one distance to another, try and remember the 40-day or so period that Zainab and the sisters of Zainab and the children of Imam Hussain alayhi salam had to walk. Therefore, when you ask me why do we walk, we want to ensure that that Abrahamic legacy continues until today. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.